Okay now?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Murowitz Center program today, Decorating in the Next Chapter of Your Life with Linda Kusmer, who founded the Total Interior Designs in 1976, specializing in the psychology of interior design. A member of American Society of Interior Design and served on the board. She participated in national research projects in interior design. Her work has been published locally and nationally. She has served as the interior designer for Aberdeen Heights Retirement Community. Please welcome Linda today.
Hi, everybody. And those of you, if you choose to turn your video on, it's easier to talk to people than blank spaces. Just thought I'd let you know. So welcome. Today, I am going to be talking about decorating for the next chapter in your life. And when we first discussed this topic, when I was asked to speak, my brain kind of went to just, older people. And then I realized we all have a next chapter, and that's at many different ages. So this is also going to address people who are, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, because you have to be mindful of what you're doing now and how it will affect you in each next chapter. Now, I don't know if any of you were on the last Zoom that I did when I talked about the upside to downsizing. At the time, I had no intention whatsoever to move. I was perfectly happy in my house, though it was really very big for me. My husband passed away 4 years ago, so it started feeling really large, but I still had no intention. I had already made plans to, and already had done some design work and, rehab and so on, geared to being able to stay in my house. But then an opportunity came along that I could not refuse. So I am now talking to you in my new condo. I am not in my home. My house has been sold, so the next people have the advantage of my foresight and planning. But the interesting thing is, I was very mindful of what this condo had in terms of features and how it would serve me in the next chapter. Things like, adult height toilets and easy to get into shower, and laundry on the same floor, and there are no stairs, and just the convenience of it and the size of it so much more manageable. I was also very mindful of what I took with me in terms of furniture, because even if I had stayed in my house, the furniture had to fit my needs as I am aging, because I am aging, even I had to admit that. So basically that's what I did, and it turned out absolutely great. So this conversation is not only about what you can do to be able to stay in your home as long as you choose, but if you do choose to downsize or move, what to look for and what to bring and what to buy for that. So we're going to start with some photographs that I can help talk you about so that you get an idea. So let's start with the first one. Okay, this is an example. First, I have to explain. This is a beautiful big home, and I was hired to design this with universal design and disability access. This was not an old couple. This was a younger couple, but the wife had disabilities. So the order was to make it look luxurious and wonderful and not like anything different, not like designed for disabilities or whatever. So what I want to point out in here is if you look at the flooring, now that is actually carpet. It is a very tight, low pile textured carpet. The beauty of that is it's easy to walk on. You're firm, your feet are firm. There's no, rocking around. It's easy to use walkers or wheelchairs or whatever, because that is something to be mindful of. Very thick and squishy carpet as we age is definitely not an advantage. The other thing I wanted you to note is that there's not a lot of clutter around the floors. There's no big table in the middle. There's good access. The furniture is comfortable, but has firm enough seats and is high enough in terms of the seat height that it's easy to get in and out of the seating. So this is a good example of how you can have a beautiful space that accommodates your needs as you are growing older, or if there is a reason that you need that when you're younger, because we don't know. I mean, I fell and broke my foot many years ago, and I was not ready for that. I was much younger, but I can tell you, not having things in place when I had a broken foot made life very, very difficult, which also spurred me on to make sure that the next phase, the next chapter of design that I did for myself would accommodate those things. So it wasn't just about age. I think the next photo is, let's see what that next photo is. Oh, okay. Now these photos are of the same house. Now, I want you to note that I'm going to tell all of you not to use area rugs, even though you're looking at a photograph with an area rug in it. But that is set aside. It is not in a walking path. It is not something that you have to walk over to get to from one place to another. The hardwood floor is what the walking path is. This is just set aside. And one of the reasons I pointed this out is that it's also very nice to have a seating place in a bedroom if you have the space for it. And that way, if need be, someone can sit and visit with you if you're not feeling well, etc. So that's why I was showing this. Now we'll go to the next.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you go back to that. That's it. Now, the real thing with, even when I broke my foot, was the bathroom issue. And so this bathroom was designed, you'll notice that universal design, they require 5-foot turnaround, an open space. So if you did need to use a wheelchair, even if it's temporary, like, my foot, you have the space. So this was designed with enough space for that. But what I want you to really note is the tub. Now, this is an amazing bathtub. I know you've all seen the other kind that you open the door and, step in and they're high and all this. This is actually a wonderful tub, because if you look at the side of it where you see the like almost like a handle shadow there, when that is actually down, and so that you can sit down and swing your feet in, because there's a seat over there. But then before you fill the tub, you pull the side up so that you can lay down if you want to, then the tub fills. And so this is like incredible. When I found this tub, I'm like, wow. So that's how this works. The side pulls up, then you fill the tub, and you can lay down or sit up, and the the shower and the handheld you can't really see because it's mounted on the wall where you don't see it. But there's all those accommodations within this so that you have options of someone helping you or you being able to do it yourself. So this is not everybody has the space for this, but it is really a wonderful invention. Anybody have any questions about this tub or comments I could answer? Okay.
I'm not seeing any at this time, Linda.
All right, so let's go to the other photo of the bathroom. The reason I'm doing this is that if you look over to, well, when you're facing it to the right, you'll see the shower door. There's actually even a window from the shower so that you don't feel enclosed. This is a zero threshold shower. Now, regardless of the size of your bathroom, you can have a zero threshold shower. And that just means that that step over that we all have had for many years is eliminated. And it's just straight floor. This is all tile floor. So it just goes right into the shower, and the floor is angled in a way so that the water all goes to the drain and you're not ending up with a lot of water all over your floor in the bathroom. But this makes a big difference. Even if you don't have to use a wheelchair, like for me, not only did I break my foot, but I've also had 2 hips replaced. And I can tell you that the beauty of having a zero threshold shower is that you don't have to struggle with stepping over something to get in and out of it. So I would suggest if you're doing anything to your bathrooms, those are key. The zero threshold shower, the adult height or universal height commode, if you can, a tub that accommodates your needs, and the space, if it's possible, the space to have if you needed to have a wheelchair.
And I think too, Linda, I wanted to comment, and even looking ahead, if you're planning on moving anyway, maybe it's something to consider looking and seeing if it's available.
That is a wonderful comment. Thank you. Because yes, whatever if you are looking to move, these are things that are like I just moved into my condo and they had put in brand new adult height toilets, which was nice. Then I didn't have to do it. And I have a walk-in shower and just, things that I was looking for. Let's go on to the next photo. Okay, now here's a much smaller bathroom. The reason that I'm showing you that is because this is more of, our average size bathroom. Wanted to point out the faucets. The lever handles are very, very important, and the high spouts, because it's so much easier to turn them on and off or accommodate whatever you need to put under it if this is the type of faucet you use. So I just wanted to point that out. And of course, having drawers is always a great thing in the bathroom. And you can, if you have a smaller bath, this just happens to have a big enough space to accommodate double sinks. But, if your bathroom doesn't, fine. Just cut that in half and you'll have the space. Lighting is very, very important, not only in bathrooms, but everywhere. That's one of the things that actually, I think that's probably the last thing that most of my clients even thought about. But I would introduce that to them right away, because I would say, look, if you're picking out beautiful fabrics and paint colors and all of that, if you don't have good lighting, you're not going to be able to appreciate any of those things you chose. So not only is it about helping it to look beautiful, but it's because as we age, we need more light. We need brighter light. So flexible lighting, brighter lighting is really good. Now with the new LEDs and the long-lasting bulbs, it makes life a whole lot easier. But one of the things that I would suggest, and I do have them, or I did when I had the recessed lighting, is those extender poles that you can change light bulbs so that you do not climb up ladders. Karen, my sister said, be sure to mention not to get on ladders. So I did. But yeah, those are wonderful. They work with little tiny bulbs or big bulbs or anything. So that's something you might want to look into. Let's go to the next
Can I
photo.
ask a quick question
Oh,
on
sure.
the sinks on these?
Mhm.
Maybe you mentioned it and I missed it. They're perfectly formed. I mean, there's no seams or,
No seams, that's correct. And
so are these
they're,
specially made?
well, yes, they're part of the countertop.
Hmm.
And and this is a, I think this is a solid surface countertop.
Looks like it
And
could be.
you can get different shapes and sizes.
Oh,
What's nice about these is the way they slope so that you have a nice area for water, but it tends to not splash over in the front. So it keeps things kind of nicer and
yeah, that's
drier,
very nice. Thank you.
and they're pretty.
Yeah, very.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
asking.
Linda, may I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
In the bathroom that you just showed, would
Uh-huh.
that be wheelchair accessible if there are drawers all the way to the floor?
Actually not. This one would not be easily wheelchair accessible. And that is, this particular bathroom was not built for that purpose. But we did consider, the type of faucets and et cetera.
Was the
So,
previous one designed for that purpose?
well, that was kind of a different story. The sink was accessible, but not as you didn't, there was a space underneath. You could access the sink, but it wasn't what I classify as a wheelchair designed vanity, because there's a specific type that you use if you are going to be in a wheelchair. So
Thank you.
they did not want that look. So I had to do what I did to accommodate all the different needs.
I have a question
Yeah.
regarding that.
Hey, Marilyn.
So,
Hi.
hi. Sorry, I tuned in a little bit late, but I think I've gotten the gist. In this sink that's on the picture now,
Mhm.
if one were to take off the doors below the sink
Mhm.
and just create an open, like a knee hole space, would that be sufficient for a wheelchair? Let's say you already have your bathroom in place and now you need to modify it and you don't want to spend a fortune. Would removing those doors
It would
create that
depend on
space?
how your plumbing is set up. I would say that you would have a better chance of getting closer to the sink, but it really is going to depend on your base, the support on the bottom, and how far forward your plumbing is. But it's something that probably could be worked with. It may not be ideal, but it could be accommodated.
Would
Thanks.
the height make a difference too?
If you're really doing a wheelchair accessible bathroom, you do a lower
Mhm.
a lower sink. Most people are more comfortable with the adult height cabinetry now. It's easier than bending way over. Fortunately, most people aren't needing to have a fully wheelchair accessible bathroom, as long as there are some things that would accommodate. Like with me, when I was not able to, with 2 hip replacements and a broken foot, I still was able to use my bathroom because I had some of the features. One of the features that is really crucial, and I'm hoping you all have this now already, is grab bars. Not only in your shower or your tub, but grab bars next to your toilet, grab bars, especially next to your toilet when you're having, hip replacements. But yes, they're key. They're key to safety, and they're key to accommodating our needs. Any other questions about the bathroom? Okay, let's go to there. Now, the reason that I'm showing you this is because this is furniture that was definitely purchased keeping in mind the type of furniture that you need to have, where the seat height is easy to get in and out of, but also there is a comfort but firmness. And having too many toss pillows is not good, but having at least one pillow to accommodate your back and the way you need to sit in a chair is important. The other thing I wanted to point out, there are no area rugs in here at all. The coffee table is not overly large, but very visible, so that if your eyesight is a problem, you can see it easily. And this just kind of points out what you can do, but it's more about the way the furniture is designed and the seat cushions, and that it's easier and firmer than the real cushy. When we were real young and we loved to just sink into those billowy, cushy seats, not anymore. Ah, I see Karen Wilner, and she has her hand up. Folks, this is my sister from Florida.
I had my hand up, but oh, don't look at me. Yikes.
Don't look at her.
No, sorry, not prepared. Anyway, can we move back to the bathroom a little bit?
Which bathroom?
When you were talking about,
That one?
well, you don't have to show the picture. I just wanted to point out that one of the best things that I did was put up grab bars, and I don't mean.
I just talked about
No,
all.
no, I know you did, but I want to explain that I can go from grab bar to grab bar all the way outside of the shower. So the setup that I've got, it's called a Roman shower, and you just walk in. The other thing I wanted to say that was, if possible, if you can get a shower that's wide enough along with the 0 step to accommodate a walker or a wheelchair, because you know, I live in the villages in Florida, and this is all built for retiring and aging and all that kind of stuff. And even though I didn't think I needed it, I sure do appreciate having it. And so I just wanted to, you know, point that out. The other thing I wanted to point out was I went and bought all recliner furniture. And that was a mistake. It's not to say a piece of recliner, but I mean, everything I have is reclines. And then I found out from my orthopedic doctor and my physical therapist that that's the worst thing I could do, was to sit in recliner, because of my spine, and that goes all the way up my neck, and there's pressure in the wrong parts when you're sitting in an unnatural position all the time. So just wanted to point that out, and now I'll be quiet.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Marilyn?
Marilyn,
So a comment on the recliner. Both of my chairs in my living room are recliners. I seldom even put them in a reclining position. You can sit in a recliner as a regular chair.
I know.
So it should work for you, Karen. And hi, Karen.
Hi. Well, it actually doesn't, because I'm too inclined to
Recline.
Right. That's number one. And if I had a regular sofa, it would be more comfortable sitting up. And I do remember our mother also had problems with her recliner because it pushed her, that big pillow that they have in a lot of recliners, pushed her head too far forward. And she had,
Yeah, the good thing about them now is they have the electric ones have a lot of adjustability from your head and your back, and of course, helping you stand up. The lift recliners are very helpful. So it's an individual thing. You know, I'm a recliner person, so it just
me too.
an individual thing. I did want to get back for a minute with lighting, because lighting is so important. There are wonderful outlets now that you don't even have to do any special wiring for. You just plug them in, and they have these little LED lights coming out the bottom of it. They're still regular plugs. So you're basically plugging plugs in your outlet, But because they have a light, you can just have like that in rooms and halls and stuff without having to have an ugly, you know, like one of those old, what do you call those, night light things. So it's a very inexpensive way to keep lighting where you're going to be walking in the dark. And that's really good. Looking at my notes.
While you're looking at your notes, can I say one more thing about lighting?
Sure.
When we moved into our house now, we replaced all the traditional, I guess you call them cans, you know, the recessed lighting with LED recessed that fit right into the holes. I didn't have to do anything special except buy them and have them installed. But it was a simple installation. It was just replacing one thing with another. And we've been here 4 years now, and I have yet to change anything on any of the ceilings in my house. Plus, I have way better lighting with the LED than I had with regular.
And it helps on your utility bills.
Oh, big time. Big
Yes,
time.
so that's really, really good. I want to get back to furniture for a minute because interestingly, mid-century modern seating pieces and furniture are back and they're the rage. Now, mid-century modern, I had in the 60s, and I was young in the 60s, so I could sit on that kind of furniture. I still have, I don't have it myself anymore. My daughter has it in her finished lower level, a sofa that I kept because it was so well built. It was indestructible and it was great looking. But you literally would need to have somebody, for me, have somebody pull me out of it now. It is so low. All the mid-century modern furniture seating pieces are very low. So even if you like the look of it, I would not suggest investing in these low seating pieces for the next chapter of your going forward, unless you just want to give it to your kids that are young and can do that. But, oh, great picture, Karen. So somebody else join us in the conversation. Questions, comments? Addie, what do you have to say?
May need to unmute. Well, I'll ask her to unmute.
Maybe left.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's see. It's hard to do this without questions and conversations.
Well, Carla has something.
Oh, great. Carla, where are you? There. Hi.
Good morning, Linda. Thanks for the presentation. You know, I have two very inexpensive, you know, chairs in a living room that I bought, you know, I don't know.
You're kicking out, Carla. I can't
Someplace very inexpensively, and they're not stable, and I want to replace them.
repeat
Sorry.
that, Carla.
Is that better? Can you hear me now? I
Yes.
had two inexpensive side chairs that are not at all stable and that I want to replace. But, you know, I look at these online sources. How do you buy furniture these days? I mean, where do you go, or what kind of specs would you be looking for, say, in a chair? I like the styles that you're showing, but, you know, I also have to worry about depth because I'm short, that I'm not
Absolutely.
laying down in the chair. So
Absolutely.
how do you buy furniture today?
Well, you do have to look at the specs. You have to look at the measurements. You want to have people who are shorter, they can go with an 18 to 20 inch height seat. But when you get to a 20-inch high, you're going to find that you have to also look at the depth of
That's
that
what I meant.
seat. And so many of them are too deep, which is again what I was saying about having to have a pillow to adjust for your own body. And for me, I'm short, so I also like to have like a footstool to accommodate.
Oh, I
So,
brought the picture back up so you could
okay,
kind of point out the pillows back in the chairs.
right, right.
Is there a standard depth?
You
Or-
know, there is no standard. That's why you have to really look at it. Anything that is deeper than 20 inches is going to start getting, you're going to go further and further back. Also, you have to watch the angle of the back because that tends to be an issue. The straighter up back will push you forward, but then you also have the comfort factor. Like these chairs, for example, they have a slight angle. If you can see how they at the top kind of go back a little bit, but the cushion itself, the way it's upholstered, comes forward. So even though it looks like it leans back a little, when you sit in it, it has a good upright, secure back to it. These furnishings are in one of the public areas that I did in Aberdeen Heights. So I specifically had a lot of criteria because that is a retirement community of very various aging people. And so this particular type of furniture does accommodate those needs. But yeah,
And you also,
go ahead.
do you also want to have, it looks to me like you have a nice sturdy arm that you could help propel
Yes.
yourself out of the seat
Yes,
if you needed a
definitely.
boost.
Definitely. So, right, you don't want to get too cushy, you don't want to get too low. And the arms, yes, the arms are very important because you do need that leverage to, kind of help get yourself out of the seat.
Thanks.
Also, if you notice on the little sofa, it's better to have, if you can, to have what's called a bench cushion, which is what this is, instead of separate cushions, because if two people are sitting on this piece, they're not unstable. Like if you had two cushions, this keeps its conformity across, so it's easier for both people to sit and have balance and then be able to get up rather than the cushions rocking around.
Myra has a question.
Yeah, Myra. You're muted.
Okay. I just was wondering, what's the best filling for a couch that's firm yet comfortable?
A foam, a good foam, then has a Dacron wrap. So you have to be careful with some of the memory foam that's going on right now. There are different levels of foam, and the better quality is going to accommodate you. If you get into a memory foam seat, unless you know the quality of that, it's not going to hold up, and you're going to find that it's going to lose its memory as many of us do, but you don't want it in your chairs. So basically foam is still good, and stay away from any down-filled, feather-filled. It's just too hard to get in and out of. In fact, when I moved, I didn't leave it, it was an estate sale, but I had these two love seats that I absolutely love and still love. But I knew I could not take them, even though the size was great. They were, the right, small enough, that would have accommodated, but it was all down, and the seats, I just couldn't get out of them anymore. I mean, it was just wasn't comfortable even for sitting because it sat me too low. And then to try to get out of it was embarrassing. So I decided, I think I'll sell those to someone who's younger than me. And that's why I didn't take them, which is what I meant by, if you do end up moving, be very mindful of what you keep, what you choose to bring with you, or what you buy new for that next chapter, because it does make a difference.
What about the back cushions?
The back cushions, you can have, in the back cushions, you can have kind of a blend if you like to have a little softer. But again, that's all about our individual bodies. I have a back problem. So if I'm sitting, if it gets, that's why I always have like a pillow that I can, adjust things to. But you could have a blend if you wanted to, but your core still has to, for example, you can have a foam core with a down or feather blend around it, though Dacron is still better. And Dacron you can do softer or harder. So I'm more into the firmer pieces now than when I was young.
Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you. How are we doing?
Carla?
Carla, yeah.
I just want to give Linda a shout out because she's helped us at our home on a couple of rounds of renovations and so forth. And one of the best things we ever did at our house, if you remain in a home, we had a sunken front step that we had been advised for quite a long while that we should replace. And what she advised and found somebody to do was a flat surface. So I have an aggregate walkway that goes up to my front door, and it is zero entry. So if you have a guest who's in a wheelchair, or, God forbid, they need to bring out somebody on a gurney or whatever, it's right in and out the front door. Now, the house is old and you can't really get through the kitchen door very well, but this front door, it's elegant and it's totally unobtrusive. You can't see it at all. It looks just normal. You don't even think about the fact that there's no step at the front of the house.
Thanks, Carla. That is an important point. I actually had to do that in my walkway. At the end of my walk, there was like an awkward, kind of a small step down, and you couldn't see it. So as you're walking down toward the driveway, a lot of times, especially at night, you could not see that. So I had that taken out like I did with yours and just had it sloped with the aggregate, and it made quite a difference. And you know what made the biggest difference? When I had my little granddaughter, when she was toddler and stuff, had that step still been there, that child would have hurt herself many a time. So it's not just about age, it's about accommodating for a lot of different things. And one of the things I did want to talk about before, well, we're doing fine. I started my company in 1976. And around 1978 or 9, universal design was a term that was introduced. It became like a hot topic through, like ADA, American Disability, and so on. But it never really took up the way it should have. So what I did is I went to many of the local builders, home builders, and I not only suggested, but volunteered my time, volunteered my design, everything, to build a spec house, to build a display house that was all universal design. That means all entryways, Carla, are like yours now, that there is no step up, that all doors are 36 inches wide, that all bathrooms have a 5-foot turnaround. All of the different things we've been talking about would be in this universal design home. I got such pushback because their biggest fear was that people would think of it as a handicap house. I said, first of all, the design, people wouldn't, because we'd make it beautiful and they would just marvel at how easy it was to maneuver in that house. They wouldn't think about, oh, this is just for, disabilities or a problem or sickness. They wouldn't even think about that. They would just appreciate the freedom of being able to move through their spaces freely and comfortably. They didn't believe me, okay? They just thought they would lose a lot of money And one of the main things they said was that that would mean that all standard door sizes and framing, et cetera, would have to be redone. I'm talking about manufacturing, not just individually, but the whole thing. And I said, okay, fine. So you start out and you evolve it as you go, and then it becomes the standard. Well, I got to tell you, I have so many builders that were supposed to be innovative builders, absolutely just couldn't get it. If they had, we all would not have to spend the kind of money we have to spend to get our homes accommodating our needs in each chapter of our life, because we would have bought these homes that already had it built in, and we would have been able to just birth to death and not have a problem. Didn't work, but I tried. I really did.
Linda, we have a question from Pam.
Yes.
She asks, can you address universal design elements for kitchens, please?
Yes. Okay. That's tricky because the trends are, of course, to have the very to the ceiling upper cabinets, and universal design does not accommodate that. I'll tell you one of the things you can do. There is a cabinet, and again, these are not readily available because same story with the houses. There is the upper cabinets that have like a hinge where you can you open the door and then you can bring the shelf down to reach it, but it's a very customized thing. As far as what to do in a kitchen, I guess the counter height situation where you could have one area that would be lower or wheelchair accessible. One of the things that is being done more now than it used to be is having the microwaves under the cabinet, and either in an island or in a lower cabinet, so that you don't have to reach up with, picking things in and out from over the stove, in the cooktop. But other than that, unless you really customize a kitchen for that specific, it's not readily available, unfortunately. Anybody else?
You gave us some very wonderful information. Myra, do you have
Myra
something?
had something.
Mhm.
I just have something to add.
Good.
I have a microwave drawer and I love it. My cousin in Colorado had one, and otherwise I wouldn't have known about it when we were building our condo, our place in our condo. And it's wonderful, and if you have enough space for it, it's less obtrusive than having it overhead.
Right. So you have it in the lower
I
cabinet,
do,
right?
underneath the counter.
That's wonderful. That's great. In my house, I had dishwasher drawers. Instead of with the door that came down, there were two drawers, and you could use them separately. And that was really a great feature also. Thank you, Myra, for bringing that up. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Linda. So we had so much information today. This is really wonderful, and lots of thought to designing for our futures. Does anyone else have questions today? Not seeing any, Linda. What? Oh, wait, Marilyn has something.
I just want to thank Linda for all of these programs. They are just outstanding. And I take a look around my own condo and I see what I've done. And in so many ways, the checklist is checking off. And Linda, thank you for your time putting these sessions together. They're so informative and so well done. Thank you.
Thank you. And I also will thank Marilyn because she was very instrumental in helping me when I moved to my condo.
Oh,
We had a lot of fun hanging pictures.
Yes.
So wonderful. It's a
So
pleasure for me to.
can we
do-
share your contact information in the event that, you know, sometimes something will pop into our minds at a later time and we think, well, Linda said something about that. So can I share I'm sure a lot of you people already have Linda's contact information, but I can put it in an email to everyone as well.
You can send them my email address.
Yeah, yeah.
That would
Okay.
be fine. That would be great.
All
So,
right. Thank
thank
you,
you
everyone.
all. It was a pleasure being with you, and I hope you did get something out of it and enjoyed it.
And congratulations on your move and
Thank you.
getting
I love it.
settled
I
in.
love it.
I think that's wonderful. And it takes some time to get settled in, but you look so happy. So I'm sure that it's been a good thing.
You know, I got to tell you, this is amazing. So we do have another couple of minutes. I got to tell you this story because this is just incredible. I had no intention of moving. One day I get an email from my daughter, Meredith, with an ad for a condo that was on sale. I had always said for many years that if I were ever to downsize and move, I would move to the Corder Royale, Sarah Lane area off of Old Dallas, because I had done several condos in here for clients. Just loved the location and I loved the units. So this comes in, and sure enough, it's this condo. And I went, wow, I got to look at that. That was on March 9th. I took a look at it the next day and then the next day. So that was a Friday and a Saturday. I bought it on Wednesday. I moved on October 20th. And I sold my house on November 20th, 29th. And Marilyn will tell you, I was completely all furnished and set up within 3 to 4 days. It was this amazing whirlwind. And it was nerve-wracking and fun and worth every minute of it. So yeah, very happy here. You never know what opportunities come along, and sometimes you just have to say yes to them.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And again, Linda, thank you so much for your information. We really appreciate all the ideas. And
kudos to Judith, who puts these together, works with me for the photographs, and is just wonderful to work with. Thank you so much.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, today we're going to have to say thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye,
Judith?
everybody.
Yeah,
Judith,
yes,
since
yes.
you're on, I do have a question for you.
Oh, sure.
Did you ever receive those slides from the gerrymandering
No,
talk?
no, I did not. So
Uh,
I've put a call into her, and I'm wondering if maybe she's out of town or something for like
Yeah.
kind of the extended holidays, and I'll check back in with her again. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
okay. All right. Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.